What's going on, folks? This is LB the Realist with Surrealistic Studios. Surreal news, where the real is surreal. So, recently in Australia, a couple had their child taken away from them because they refused to give their child gender-affirming hormone treatments. And they ruled that the parents were abusive to their child. And to me, it's a real sad situation. First of all, that the child is going through whatever the child is going through. It's sad that so many children in today's society feel, or should I say, they don't feel comfortable in their own skin to the point where they feel like they want to change genders. I think that that's unfortunate. I think that's sad. And I actually think that that's okay to do, but I don't think it's okay to do when you're underaged. So now you have these parents that just lost their child because they refuse to give their child hormone blocking, treatment. It just, I don't understand. And, I'm missing a lot of information on this. So, don't judge me too hard. I'm really trying to understand this. There's a lot of people that are all for it. There's a lot of people that are super against it. I'm somewhere in the middle, but I lean towards I'm for it. Just make sure that, everyone knows exactly what they're getting themselves into. And how can a child make that decision? It's okay for a child to make the decision that, hey, she's a girl, she likes girls. Or she's a boy, she likes boys. Or he's a boy, he likes boys. Or the boy wants to be a girl, the girl wants to be treated as a boy, vice versa. Whatever the case may be, that's all good and well. But I think it goes a little too far when you start giving your child hormone treatments and you start implementing things such as puberty. Am I saying that right? Excuse me. Puberty blockers to block their puberty. There's a case that I was just in the video on this, like right before I made this video. This teenager was given puberty blockers to transition from being a girl to a boy, and now they have doubt. Now, not doubts, but now they have regrets. They wish that they were never given those puberty blockers, because at the time, they weren't able to make that. They thought that that's what they wanted, but as time progressed, they found out that that's not what they wanted. But now it's too late. It's too late. So this is my thing. How can a child consciously make that decision? How can a child be mature enough and intelligent enough to make that life, changing decision? But a child is not mature enough to have a cigarette, or a child is not mature enough to have a drink of alcohol, or a child is not mature enough to engage in any sexual activities. But in regards to sex, meaning gender, they're able to make that decision. And I know there's stories of kids that have made the transition and they're happy with it, and that's all good and well. But there's also stories of kids that made that transition and now they regret it. They regret it and they're mad that, their parents would let them do that. I got this one story, kind of related but unrelated. When I was a kid, my mom just wanted to make me happy. So one time she gave me a bunch of money. I think it was like $200 or $300, something like that. I'm not sure the amount anymore. It was a long time ago. I was like maybe 7 or 8 years old. And I took all that money, let's say $200. I took $200 that she gave me, and instead of putting it into a bank account or a savings account or investing it or using it for something that I really would use throughout the years and utilize, I went out and I bought a bunch of Pokemon cards. I bought a bunch of Pokemon cards, and at the time, I was happy about it. And as time progressed and I started thinking back and reminiscing on that moment that I got the $200, I started having major regrets. Like, damn, why did I spend that money on Pokemon cards? It was fun at the time, But as I grew up, as I aged, as I progressed, as I evolved, as I matured, I grew out of that. And I realized that's not what I really wanted the money for. That's not what I really should have did with the money. And to this day, my mom's like, well, you were happy and, that's what you wanted. And, I don't blame her for that, but I regret that I used the money for that purpose. I know it's not the same situation, but that's as close as I can think about it in my head right now, because I never had them thoughts of wanting to be a girl or anything like that. But these kids they're growing up, they're evolving, and they're going through all these changes that they don't understand. And I just wish that people would slow down and remember that they're still children. They don't have it all figured out right now, but right now we're giving a lot of freedom, or a lot of not freedom, but we're giving a lot of choice to children who don't understand what the choices are that they're making. And it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make sense that this Australian couple had their kid taken away from them because they were adults, and they were like, no, we're going to wait on that because obviously you're not old enough or mature enough to make this decision. And the courts ruled that their child actually was. And not only did they rule that their child was actually mature enough to make that decision, but they ruled that that the child's parents were being abusive to the child. Abusive. So, it's strange to me. It really is strange to me that, a child can make that kind of decision. And like I said, if a child is gay or if they want to, transgender, that's all fine. That's good and well. But it's another story when you start blocking puberty and when you start messing with the science and the anatomy of who they are. And then a few years down the line, they just feel like, they made a mistake. And you can't go back. Once it's done, it's done. Like, can you ever go back? Am I missing that point? Let me know in the comment section below. Leave me your thoughts in the comment section below, folks. I don't think there's anything wrong with being transgender, gay, bisexual, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. But it's another story when you actually change the hormones and change the anatomy of a child that's not fully capable of understanding that decision. And now you take the child away from the parents and you call them mean, you call them abusive because they refuse to block their child's puberty, or they refuse to give their child gender affirming treatments. That's not right to me. That's not right at all. You let the child grow up a little more. You let them get to a certain age where they're capable of making these decisions. And then if they want to make that decision, that's fine. You support them as your child. You support them and you love them anyways. But until that happens, they're still under your care. You're still responsible for your child. So for a court to come in and say, hey, we're going to take your child away because you're not allowing your 10-year-old or whoever, whatever the age is, to be the gender that they want to be, not that they're against them being gay or against them wanting to dress like a boy or dress like a girl, whatever, but they're just preventing the child from taking those hormone treatments. You take the child away from the parent. That don't make any sense to me. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. I feel sorry for the parents. I feel sorry for the kid because, this may be what the child wants at this point in time, but they might look back at the situation in the future and be like, damn, I made a mistake. Or miss their parents and realize, hey, this was a little over the top. So that's really crazy to me. So let me know what you guys have to say in the comment section down below. Like this video if you like it. Unlike the video or dislike the video if you don't like it. I'm just asking questions. I'm trying to understand the situation, and I'm trying to be fair about it. If a child is not mature enough to have sex, not mature enough to have a cigarette, not mature enough to have a drink of alcohol, but all of a sudden that same child is mature enough to change their gender, I just don't know. I just don't know. Look in America. We can't have a cigarette or a drink. Can't smoke weed when you're 18. But when you're 18, you can sure as hell go off to war. You can sign up for the military. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You can sign up for the military. Go off to war, get your legs blown off, and then come back to America and argue about how our country is so great. I'm trying to understand it, folks. Like I said, leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. And love, peace, and light. Until next time, I'll catch you guys on the next video. I'm out.